Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video we'll be talking about overview of GIT. So starting with anatomy, right? So first of all you can see a image in which parts of GIT, let's just see the list. So oral cavity, first of all mouth, esophagus, then we have after esophagus we have stomach, then small intestine. This is small intestine starting with duodenum, and then next part is your jejunum. So duodenum, jejunum, and last part is ileum. So here ileum finishes, right? Ileum join with the colon. This is ascending part of colon, this is transverse part of colon, this is descending part of colon. Then we have sigmoid colon and we have rectum. Okay, so cecum, from cecum basically there is starting of colon, right? And which is also called large intestine, and then we have rectum and anus, right? So we have some glands also, for example liver. Okay, then we have gallbladder, which is basically used for storage of bile, and we have pancreas. So these basically pour their secretion here in duodenum. Okay, we'll see it later on. Then the same glands are shown in this image, and we can see this is liver. Okay, liver is basically pouring the bile here in duodenum. This is duodenum, this is your duodenum, and same this is pancreas. Okay, and pancreas via pancreatic duct, it join to this bile duct, and this is called hepatopancreatic duct, and these open basically in the duodenum, and so the bile and pancreatic juice is being poured in the duodenum, and that's how basically the glands pour their secretion in the tubing. Then about layers of gut, that is also important. So we have various layers of gut. If you cut the whole tubing from esophagus till anus, you cut everywhere, the same 5 linings are present, right? So this lumen is this is your lumen side, this is your lumen side, fine. So in lumen you can see there is foldings present, and we have various villi like structure and having cells on it. You can see these are the villi, and in these villi, if you zoom these villi, you can see that there are various cells over these villi. So these are various cells needed for various enzyme, hormone, or various secretion, right? So this part is called mucosa. You can see this is mucosa, right? Mucosa having muscularis mucosa and lamina propria, and again villi. Okay, having epithelium over it. Then just below this mucosa there is submucosa, right? Submucosa, just below the mucosa, right? So this is can you see a network present over here? So this is your submucosal plexus, submucosal plexus, right? So nerve ending, all the blood vessels, they are present in this layer. Then we have 2 muscle layers. One is, as you can see, these are longitudinally arranged, so we call these muscles longitudinal muscle, and as you can see these are circular muscles present here. So this is circular muscle. So longitudinal and circular muscle, there are 2 muscle layers, and between these 2 muscle layer you can see again there is some network present over here, and this network, these networking are basically nerve endings which are very important for us. They are basically called the brain of gut. Okay, Mesenteric plexus is the most important among these. So there are 2 plexus present, Mesenteric plexus and submucosal plexus. Collectively they are called as ENS, enteric nervous system, which we will discuss it later, right? And outside structure, outside is a fibrous structure which we call serosa, right? So these are 5 layers basically, starting with mucosa, then submucosa, then 2 muscle layer, inner, circular, and outer, longitudinal, and then serosa. So these are all about 5 layers of gut. Then brief overview of the functions of GIT, starting with oral cavity and pharynx. You can see the in oral cavity, when we take food, there is mastication of the food, chewing is being done, and then this is also some digestion also takes place, and we have to swallow that food. Okay, Then esophagus, if we see, then food comes in esophagus, having two sphincters, upper esophageal sphincter and lower esophageal sphincter, right? So there is peristalsis present in esophagus, and the bolus, when it comes here, it is passed downward towards stomach using peristalsis, right? So this is a lower esophageal sphincter, and this is applied part of lower esophageal sphincter when this sphincter doesn't open, right? So achalasia cardia is the problem. So when this doesn't open, the food collects here and esophagus dilates, right? Here we can see there is one more applied aspect related to esophagus. What if this LES sphincter, this lower esophageal sphincter, this is closed here normally, and what if it is not able to close? Here it was not able to open, right? Here it is unable to close, and that's why the acid reflux occur, and we can call it GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, right? We'll touch upon all the applied part later on, but this is just an overview showing the applied part of esophagus. Then we have stomach. So esophagus join the stomach at cardia end. Then this is a stomach, which is pouch-like structure having dome-shaped fundus. Body, the whole part is body, and the last part is antrum, right? Having a sphincter which is guarding the opening, which is called pylorus. Then we have small intestine having three segments: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So 25 centimeter duodenum, jejunum is 2.5 meter, and ileum is the most elongated 3.5 meter. Now talking about small intestine, in small intestine there are some peculiarities which keeps on changing based on the requirements. So small intestine is the most important for absorption of all the micronutrients. That's why we need more surface area, right? So we need foldings, which are the Leica circularis, and on these foldings you can see hair-like structure which are villi, right? So on these villi you can see, if you see a villi, this is villi shown here, and you can see that on villi every epithelial cell is present having various function. We'll see all these cells, the name and different functions based on the location, right? So these are villi and having cells. If you see one cell, there are hair-like structure present on every cell also. So these are called microvilli, right? Microvilli, fine. So these are epithelial lining over villi, and this is Leica circularis, fine. Then between these villi, the folding is Leica circularis and hair-like structure are villi, okay? And in between two villi there is a depressed structure also present which is not visible here. So if this is villi, okay, and this is a next villi, so there are some depressed structure which is also villi-like structure, but downward depression there is. So this depression is called crypts. So you should be having a clear idea what is Leica circularis, what is villi, what is microvilli, and what are crypts, because student most often they confuse between these three terms. So what is crypts then? This is also important. Crypts of Lieberkühn, what are these? So crypts have cellular structure like this, and the most important cell here is Paneth cell. Paneth cells are basically the stem cell which help in origin of all the rest cells, right? So stem cells are present here, and they basically keep on transforming in various cells, goblet cells, enteroendocrine cells, right? Various other cells, mucosal cells. So they keep on going upward and be the part of various villi. Okay, so that's how these Paneth cells play very important role, and they are present in crypts. So somebody can ask what is importance of crypts, then you can tell them that Paneth cells are present in the crypts, right? Then talking about large intestine, so at ileocecal wall is present at the distal part of ileum. So this is ileum, right, which join at the colon. So this is cecum, okay, cecum. So this is colon, which is large intestine only. So this is ascending part, so we call it ascending colon. This is transverse part, so we call it transverse colon. This is descending part, so we call it descending colon, right? Then we have S-shaped part, that's why we call it sigmoid colon. And then we have a dilated part, which is rectum. Fine. And then last opening is anus. One more important thing when we talk about GIT, we can't skip is enteric nervous system. Okay, we have touched upon this thing that this is mucosal layer. Then below mucosal layer, there is submucosal plexus. So this plexus is submucosal plexus. Submucosal plexus or network of nerve ending. And between two muscle layer, this is myenteric plexus. Myenteric plexus, right? So why we are talking about these plexus? Because submucosal plexus is concerned with all the secretions. So whenever we have to increase various secretions in gut, then this plexus to be stimulated. And what is use of myenteric plexus? When movement or motility pattern, for example peristalsis, to be increased, then this plexus should be stimulated. Okay, so myenteric plexus is concerned with motility or movement of gut, and submucosal plexus is concerned with secretion. This you can this question you can have in your MCQs in exam, right? And gut brain axis also we will discuss at last. So in gut basically there are various things, various digestive products, the microflora, the good bacteria are present in gut, which can actually act on these nerve endings, and some signal can be transmitted to the brain via bloodstream, and in turn vagus can basically increase the motility or increase the secretion. And research says that this also play in various role apart from GIT or digestion. Okay, so for example behavior is concerned, for example immunity is concerned. So we'll discuss this point later on in brief. Apart from this regulation, how basically various functions of GIT are regulated. So you might have studied this when there is interaction of like one cell can communicate with other via various ions secreting some molecules, or nerve can communicate neural communication, that is it secretes some neurotransmitter which act on other nerve via neurotransmitter. There can be paracrine regulation, which is one cell secretes something and it act on neighboring cell, that is your paracrine regulation. Paracrine regulation, right? And we have hormonal regulation. So mostly when we talk about GIT, there is either neural regulation or paracrine regulation or endocrine regulation. This we'll discuss based on which system or which area we are dealing with. So various cells have, for example, paracrine is the most important when we talk about stomach, and the rest are mostly following both of these. So various hormones can increase or decrease various secretions or motility pattern. Same with neural. Most important is basically vagus, which we will be dealing here. So that's all about overview of GIT. So in next video we'll start with salivary gland secretion. If you have any doubt, you can comment below.